And to those of you who are complaining about this Cancer season, imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it, right? This new moon in Cancer this week is the pit stop of this Mercury retrograde. Congratulations, you've made it halfway. You are halfway there. The second half of this Mercury retrograde is what I'm going to call the afterbirth, okay? The moon represents how we nourish and take care of ourselves, right? So this new moon in Cancer is going to be bringing into your awareness where you emotionally neglect yourself. There is a full spectrum to be reckoned with when it comes to this new moon in Cancer. It is forcing your head under the water to witness and observe and understand the depth and full spectrum of your essence. You don't need more information. You need to start feeling it. That is what this new moon in Cancer is telling you. And this is going to be a cycle that only increases as we continue through the rest of this Mercury retrograde until the end of July, right? So this is not a one-day only experience. Your Cancer house has been uncovered, if you will, all right? This is especially relevant for the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, and especially Capricorn and Cancer placements, specifically the risings, right? Now, something to understand about Cancer is similar to Scorpio, they have very hard, tough outer shells. The people with the toughest outer shells, I like to say, are always protecting the most soft, gentle, vulnerable, gooey insides, right? This is gonna bring through a lot of discomfort that the new moon in Cancer is showing you to really sit with. We have to know how to sit with our feelings, including the discomfort, including the shadows. And the entirety of this Mercury retrograde is showing you the good, the bad, the ugly, the feral, right? But it's for your empowerment. It's for you to reclaim. It is not for you to cower from, okay? This new moon in Cancer is showing you where you've misaligned from your intuitive side, because the thing about intuition that's so important to understand, it's directly related, it's cousins with creativity, right? They are related. Your creativity, your intuition, it's your responsibility to cultivate your relationship with your creativity, with your intuition, with your magic, with your whimsy. That is in your hands, BB. Anaya. BB, I'm sorry I had to. It is in your hands. It is your responsibility to cultivate and tend to that flame, right? If you're neglecting it, if you're avoiding it, if you're starving it out, okay, you can't then complain that you don't have clarity, right? You create your own clarity. So stop chasing it. Stop waiting for it to appear. You don't have clarity because you're not aligned with your intuitive side. And that is, sometimes it is that simple. And this new moon in Cancer is showing you that sometimes it is that simple. And just because things are complicated, you don't necessarily have a period to a lot of sentences yet. You've got a lot of question marks, I fear, right? But that doesn't mean you don't deserve to feel good, right? You don't have to put off your pleasure, your joy, your creativity because you don't have all of your ducks in a row. And the reality is that some of the best things have created from places of confusion, from states of chaos, right? Quite frankly, people that have it all figured out, people that know exactly what they're doing and have everything planned and everything's perfect and their art's probably really boring. They're probably just really boring personalities and people, and we need them. That's the balance of the universe. But you're not like that. If you're watching this, you're not like that. I fear. That's a good thing, right? You were not meant to live a boring life. And so with this new moon in Cancer, we're going to go a bit like this. That's how the moon works, baby. right? The moon is the fastest moving planet in astrology. So, thus, we must move. My recommendations for you this week is to not sit idle. Your idleness is your worst enemy with all of this Cancer energy spinning around, especially because this new moon is squaring Saturn in Aries. And my eye twitched when I said that. The square to Saturn in Aries is where we're becoming aware of our responsibility to cultivate the relationship that we have with our creativity. Think of relationships. This is why Saturn exalts in the sign of relationships. Libra. They take work. They take time. They take effort. They take practice. They take discipline. They take restrictions. That's why Saturn loves them. That's why Saturn loves marriage. It's restricting, right? However, we're talking about the self. We're talking about our emotional bodies, right? And those are very fluid. They naturally don't really abide by the binaries and the codes and the rules that our society imposes upon us. And so it's very confusing within our society to reconcile with our own fluidity and our own ups and downs and our own contradictions amongst the restrictions and the rules and the expectations and all of the opinions and the overstimulation, right? So where have you been overrunning your own authentic needs and desires? This is where the shutdown occurs. That's what's happening on one side of the spectrum, right? So that's going to be where my fixed signs likely are: Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, right? They are kind of on this side of the spectrum where a lot of the repression and the shutdown, what's actually underneath the surface here is where you've been overrunning your desires, where you've been ignoring, where you've been avoiding. Remember that your body is intelligent. It's very intelligent. So sometimes when we're not feeling alive, we're not feeling like we want to cultivate our aliveness and our pleasure, a lot of times it's our body being intelligent, doing its job, trying to inform us, right? So we have to understand how to communicate with ourselves and the way that our body is communicating with us. It's not going to be linear. So understand the different, somatic languages that are being spoken. Okay, that's Mercury retrograde in Cancer for you, right? We're thinking and speaking through symbols and feelings and vibes, right? It's a mood ring, baby. Okay? Now, my cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, on maybe the opposite side of the spectrum, okay? Where it's feeling very volcanic. It's feeling like we are erupting, I fear, okay? We're coming into full force. We're revving it up. It's feeling bubbly. And girl, one more inconvenience away, right? And that's because we've got the Mercury retrograde happening in the cardinal energy. We've had this lunar cycle on the Capricorn Cancer axis. It's squaring to Saturn, who is also in a cardinal sign. And we've got Venus in Virgo, South Node in Virgo, Mars in Gemini, and they're all ruled by this Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So cardinal signs, I want you to invest in a good vibe. I want you to invest in a good fucking vibe, right? I don't care if that means standing in the rain. Do what you need to do to romanticize the fuck out of your experience right now. It will save you. I promise you, right? Indulge in your pleasures. Release and unleash the unhingedness and the fucking craziness in a healthy, safe, and preferably alone time way, right? Mutables, I did not forget about you, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo. I'm going to have you guys listen to the main message here. Okay. There is no threat in the silence. There is no threat around the corner. There is no catch. Cancer is about scanning, because Cancer cares about security and safety and home so much that Cancer is constantly scanning for the threats. Put it down, right? You're bracing for the worst when you should be grounded and at ease, okay? Your frustration right now is likely your soft, gentle feelings wanting to be seen and heard and nourished. This new moon in Cancer is showing you what is no longer clicking. Stop chasing reassurance and start feeling.